Here we go.
Oh my God! Deep to right field, way up there and way out of here.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Good evening, everybody. We're not going to do the welcome backs. We're not going to do I'm joined by Regz. We're here. The Phillies did it. They are back. We are in the postseason for the first time in 11 long years. We watched the final out together. We celebrated together. We opened our drink together. Regz, buddy, we did it. We made it back.
It's almost still unbelievable. I can't express, I think, how both of us feel, because I just love the fact that they did it themselves. Like, they won the game. It makes, like, to see them celebrate on the field and to hear the interview from Reese that we just listened to, and then I'm sure
tears in his eyes.
Yeah.
I'm
just getting emotional about talking about it. Like when they put a camera on each of the players after they see the last out, like all that stuff. That's the stuff you remember when your team gets in the playoffs. Like, one of the greatest things that I love going back and watching is when they capture Utley's reaction to the last pitch of the World Series. Rollins, Victorino, guys in the dugout, the coaches, like, that's the stuff where you see these guys finally get to be emotional and excited about something. And what'd they say, 4,000 some days it's been, man?
Over 4,000 days. Yep.
Just awesome.
Yep.
So glad that I could, sit there and watch it with you, reminiscent of our, 2007, 2008, 2009 days.
Mm-hmm.
But you almost can't believe it with all the times that this hasn't happened.
Yeah.
11 years. Like, I didn't have any kids 11 years ago.
Yeah.
That's how long.
We weren't even engaged. I don't know. Were you engaged in 2011? Andrea and I were not.
No, because we just celebrated our 10th.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Like, with where this organization has been, and we're going to do a preview show. We're going to have to do it. We'll be back on Thursday because the series is on Friday.
That's right.
Tonight isn't about what's next. It's not about, the rest of the season. I'll eat my words from last Thursday night. Like,
this is an in the moment podcast.
They turned around and did everything that we could expect them to do. And in the moment, we are just so thrilled that they are back in the postseason, and what will come. But this moment is so huge for the organization. There aren't enough words to describe how big this is for the Philadelphia Phillies. There just aren't.
I think they said Gene's like one of the longest tenured just players in baseball who hasn't been in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And
Nola's right there.
Right. And Nola's way up there, and Wheeler's like just around where Nola is. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we know Reese has been with this team for a long time and not made the playoffs. You have to feel like, I wish they had gotten some more shots of Bryce. This is where you kind of miss him being in the field, because I'm sure we would have gotten a reaction. But like, all the pressure that's been on that guy to get this team back into the playoffs after seeing his old team literally win a World Series right down the road.
Right.
Eflin get, like, what better way to finish that off than Zach Eflin getting the save of that game. And Aaron, the first thing we probably have to talk about is Aaron Nola coming out and absolutely being a stud in this game against all the Astros starters.
Yep.
He didn't pitch against bums. He literally went 3 times through the actual Astros lineup, who's won 103 games or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
it's a really good team.
Took a perfect game into the 7th inning.
Yeah, that's a really good team, and he carved him up. I mean, he carved him up, and we've given September Aaron Nola quite a bit of grief over the course of his career, but October Aaron Nola is not an Aaron Nola we've gotten a chance to know. And tonight we got a chance to know him, and goodness, was he masterful.
Just spectacular.
Masterful. And then enough can't be said about Jose Alvarado and what he's done. And like you said, Zach Eflin, like bullpen Zach, man. We were talking off the air, and while we were following both the Diamondback Brewer game and the Phillies game at the same time, I said, I wonder who's going to get the ball in the ninth. You almost have to think they might consider Eflin with the way he's been. And sure enough, when they pan to the bullpen in the top of the ninth, there's Zach Eflin standing on the mound. Sir Anthony's sitting in a chair. And again, this isn't the time to talk about what's coming next, but kind of gives you the glimpse of like, this is what the team thinks is Zach Eflin. He's going to come in, he's going to throw strikes, he's going to get outs, and that's what you need in the ninth inning. And
2 pitches later, we had 2 outs.
And then we had a 20 pitch at bat from some guy I never heard of. But what an unbelievable! I mean, this is like this is the moment, man. Like I was saying tonight, like when the Phillies last made the playoffs, Moves Like Jagger was the #1 song in the country. Like Moneyball was the #1 movie in the country. These are things, we joked on the last episode about how many of the blockbusters are still open, and it's what an evening. I didn't know that it would happen tonight, and the way it happened, 2 Schwarber bombs, a stop bomb against a really good team, and this team now playing with some confidence, shutting out the Astros.
Yeah.
As an entire unit from Nola to Alvarado to Eflin. Just the feeling, everything we've been through over 11 years, and here we are, loser baseball. I called it loser baseball last Thursday, and they were playing that loser baseball, but they went into Washington and did what they needed to do. They came out tonight and won a big game. Yes, the Brewers helped by blowing some leads, but those are the things that, a team like the Phillies have to take advantage of, and they haven't in the past. So for the next 2 nights, we have stress-free baseball. The Phillies locked up a playoff seed way early. And Regz, we have a bunch of people waiting to talk to us and share their feelings.
We have to try and get your brother first, right? Based on how the last one went.
Let's try and get Randy. He was in here immediately. That's R. Thomas.
All right, we'll get R.
Yeah,
Thomas
let's do
first.
him, and then we'll get Joseph into the show here. So
All
we'll
right.
try and bring Randy in first. Let's see if we can get him in.
He's muted, so
Randy, can you hear us? You are muted if you can. Oh,
Yo, I'm here.
There he is.
Randy, we did it.
Yeah.
We did it. We're in. How you feeling, buddy?
Good. I was listening to your brother talk in mid-sentence. You guys pulled me in, and I was like, uh-oh.
Nope, that's how
did
it
he get
goes.
kicked out?
No, you're with us. How you feeling, dude?
Well, I was tired, but now I'm wide awake. So, yeah, so you're my principal, so I'm going to need you to find me a sub tomorrow.
Just FYI.
Yeah, you and like 12 other people, it feels like right now.
No, I'll be there. I'll be there. This is crazy. I mean, the last time I got to see them in the playoffs, I was still in college. So to see it as an adult, like an actual like tax-paying adult, is going to be awesome.
That's what we were just talking about. I was 24 the last time they were in the playoffs, and we were second year. I was second year in teaching, and it's insane to me to think that after all these years, like here we are, we're finally in. Like we were talking before the show, Randy, about all the players, and we were like, which one do we want to see next? Was there a guy that like the reaction that you had to see more so than like another player?
We're talking about like getting in reaction, or
their reaction
when they
to
won
the
the game.
final out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, I was looking at the guys that haven't been there yet. I'm looking at Real Muto and Segura. Those are like the go-tos. But seeing Segura, kind of like initially, he looked like he was in shock. Like he didn't realize what actually happened. And he's like, "Oh wait, what? We're in the playoffs?" And then like just seeing it hit him was awesome. Because I mean, I'm a big Segura guy, and I just love the way he plays. He's been kind of down here. I feel like over the past couple of weeks since he came back. But him and Real Muto getting in is going to be awesome. Like those dudes are going to ball out, and I think we're going to shock some teams, at least in the first round. I'm not expecting a World Series, but seeing them kind of just have that opportunity, and I feel like they're going to take full advantage of it.
Yeah, the Segura thing, Reg said before we pulled you in that he's like one of the longest, if not the longest tenured player in baseball to not have a playoff appearance. He's one of them. And Aaron Nola is another one. And you sent me a text earlier tonight about Nola, but just your thoughts on tonight and just like his performance in the biggest game of his career.
I mean, you can't tell me that like he was not amped up for this. Like
Yeah.
he wanted this. He wanted to be the reason that they get in, and he was. I mean, the dude came in, he pitched like vintage Aaron Nola. I mean, you know, it was just insane, and it was so much fun to watch. Just like how confident he was, he had control of everything. That perfect game would have been nice, but at the end of the day, like it's a team sport. So you had Alvarado come in and just pitch lights out like he's been. So phenomenal. Just like, the dude's gonna rip it in the playoffs, and I can't wait to watch him.
I think moving forward, it's even better. It's even better that Nola came into this situation and did pitch like that.
Yeah.
Like if we think of Nola the past couple years, when something's gotten too big for him, he's like sort of gotten over his own skis and just pitched terrible. Like in a lot of the past couple years when we've needed him in a big game, he gets tired. I don't know what he does. He gets himself too amped up, and then his pitches are all over the place. He's not controlling his fastball. His breaking stuff doesn't work because he's like gripping it too tight or something about it is wrong. And tonight he found that center. He found that line, like right in the middle of being really excited, but like painting corners, controlling that fastball, really good breaking stuff.
You have dudes that'll come into that situation and just overthrow like crazy, and he didn't. I mean, like his stuff was nasty all game, and I mean, towards the end there, you had dudes swinging, ending up down on one knee, and if we get anything like that in the playoffs, I mean, have him going, Wheeler going, Ranger, and you can piggyback Ranger with like an Eflin from the bullpen. Ranger hasn't been going deep, but then you get through one starter, and then you can have Eflin come in and like, oh, now you have to face a second starter. And Eflin's looked good, honestly. Like he's been fun to see out of the bullpen. And I guess I talked about it in a previous pod, but like having him as a bullpen role next year would be awesome. And like I'm for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've given. I think we said this right before you came in, and we've given Nola the like September grief for years, but October Nola we've never seen until tonight, and October Nola is fun apparently. So we're gonna, I'll tell you what, man, we're in the playoffs and at Friday,
everything is gravy at this point. Everything is gravy.
Friday is going to be, I'll tell you what, Randy, we'll say this right now. If they are in, we'll be unpacking CKLA with the Phillies game on in the office. I'll tell you that right now. That's
all right. I like it. I've been through worse in my life.
Yeah, for sure. So before we let you go, just some final thoughts, feelings about heading in to the playoffs for the first time in 11 years. Just, I don't know that you need to give expectations, but just how you're feeling in this moment and what you're excited about over the course of the next, 5 to 7 days.
I mean, to be cliche, I'm just excited for some Red October here. It's been so long. Like I said, I was in college. Like I was scrounging up beer money to get beer for the game. And now I'm like, I have an actual like bank account. I can just get whatever I want now to be able to watch the game. And then the opportunity to hopefully get to watch, playoff Phillies baseball, undefeated Eagles football in the same day. Man, I'll tell you what, I'm not moving from that couch.
No, yeah, same. And here's the thing. If they could just not get us to that first Sunday, if they could just take care of whoever they play in 2 days, and then we worry about next Sunday in the NLDS, I'll be fine with that, because I don't know that I can do a game 3 in the first series. I could barely do this game tonight.
This game was easy, though. This game was easy with I don't think I was stressed because it felt right. I mean, Nola felt good. We had Schwarber leading off with first pitch home run.
Nuts.
I mean, that kind of takes the nerves away right there. If you can just do that every game, we'll be good to go.
McCarthy didn't even like finish his intro before Schwarber had already hit it. Like he was caught off guard. The camera had to like jerk itself up and to the left real quick because it wasn't ready.
Ball was tattooed.
Awesome.
Ball was tattooed.
Yeah.
So
and then you get that back-to-back home run there just to kind of seal it up.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Stott shore bombs, and that hopefully we see that happen into a sea of rally towels. That move past this first series, and we see a couple of bombs into the rally towels in right field. But I mean, we'll see what happens. We don't know who the first round matchup's going to be. A lot still kind of hanging in the balance over the course of the next few days. But all we know is that we've got a date on Friday at some point with another team for a playoff series. So we're excited, man, and we're excited that you came in to join us. And thanks for always listening and being a devoted fan of the pod.
I do what I can. I appreciate you guys. It's good listening, and wish you guys the best. Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Randy. I mean, great guy, great follower of the show.
Fantastic.
Wore the polo in to school. What do you think? We get Joseph in here?
Let's try.
We'll give it our best shot.
He's going to be mid-sentence, so we'll just be prepared.
There we go. Yank him out. Joseph.
Hello, guys.
Oh my gosh, it's him.
Oh no! Why do you keep pushing buttons?
He's probably
Joseph, don't press any buttons.
All right. Not pressing buttons.
We can hear you.
We can hear you just fine.
All right.
Joseph.
Michael.
We're in.
We are in. I was just talking to Roger in the waiting room. I'm not going to lie. I was back and forth doing things here. And seventh inning, I'm like, I need to watch this game. And then, I'm excited, but it felt like it was a delayed excitement.
Yeah.
Right? It was just one of those things, you get – well, first of all, Atlanta killed us as I was at the game that Saturday night. Then Chicago, I was talking to one of my buddies tonight. I was like, oh, the Chicago Cubs, really? But I'll tell you, Aaron Nola came out and pitched like we thought Aaron Nola could pitch. And, I mean, to see Rhys Hoskins, as I've been, on and off with him, it really was awesome to see him a little bit emotional, actually, after the game.
Yeah, did you have a player, how they were showing all the reactions and such? Did you have a player who you were, most excited to see the reaction of?
Well, I think it was really interesting to see Schwarber talking to Middleton. He's been a guy I think that has came on this team and really maybe questioned to be a clubhouse leader, but the guy's got 41 home runs. And again, someone that I don't think should be in the leadoff spot, want him in the middle of the order, but it doesn't matter now. Lead him off in the postseason. I mean, this is pretty unreal.
If he's hitting first pitch fastballs into the absolute bleachers, then
I mean 46 home runs isn't too shabby there as a leadoff guy.
Off 5. I was off by 5. I said 41.
It's not shabby.
I think this team is. I couldn't imagine if Castellanos would have played like he did in Cincinnati. But Stott's come into his own. Alec Boehm, probably one of the best averages on the team, if not the best. And hey, listen, St. Louis is gonna be a little concerned because I think Bryce Harper might break out, and this can get real interesting real fast, guys.
Well, the thing is, and we talked about this earlier, there's still too many balls in the air to know if that's going to be who they play for sure. They're kind of hanging in there with San Diego, so that's still a possibility that they jump them into that other spot. So, but tonight is all about the celebration, and we're focusing on. It's the first time in 11 years. I was 24 when they were last in the playoffs. You were 28. It feels like forever ago.
Feels like a lifetime ago.
That we've got a chance to experience this. And over the course of that, we've seen some real jabronis take the field for the Phillies. We've experienced heartbreak the final weekends of the season. We've watched 3 general managers, 4 managers. We've watched 5 if you count Charlie. We've watched multiple pitching coaches in and out, and so many.
Oh my God, the bullpens we've watched.
Just so many guys have come in and out in 11 years, and to finally break that streak of postseasonless baseball is almost beyond words. So as you sit here tonight and you watch them clinch, not even thinking toward Friday afternoon or Friday evening, just this moment, what is the emotion that's overwhelming you right now? What is the emotion that you're feeling at the top of the list?
I mean, I think that's a great question. I think it's that the Phillies usually, unless you go back to 93 or 80, 93, and even 2007, 8, and 9 in the run, I think it's just sticking with this team as frustrated as we get. Loyal fans stick with their teams, and people can say all they want about the Yankees and the Mets, even. Like, you know what? Philadelphia, when the Phillies are good and the Eagles are good, Sixers and Flyers, like, it's a great city. It's a great out, Lehigh Valley, like Reading, like it's just, this is awesome. Like, this is just gonna be fun now. And but to answer that question, I would say excited. I mean, how are we not excited right now? Like, thinking about, you said not thinking about Friday, but come on, like, let's be honest. We got Zach Wheeler on the mound, game 1.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, you can definitely be, there's no reason to not be excited. And that's why we're trying to live in this moment, because who knows what happens come Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We could easily be sitting here on Sunday night and having a very different level of conversation. But tonight, for the first time in 11 years, we get to celebrate being in the postseason. And I've experienced a lot as an Eagles fan, and over the last 5 years, we've seen it as Sixers fans. Like, it just feels like second nature to be in the playoffs with those two teams. But for the Phillies, it's been 11 long, tiresome years of bad baseball, empty stadiums, and frustrating ends of seasons. And now we finally get to celebrate, and not on the last day. We get to relax the last 2 days. We don't have to do anything but sit here and just relax.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that until just now.
What's that?
Just how stressful those next 2 days would have been.
Oh, I wouldn't have been able to. I wouldn't have been able to do anything.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Nothing.
I don't know what I would be doing.
I mean, Verlander tomorrow would have been really interesting, or doing that. Well, no, we're not at midnight yet. Yeah, Verlander tomorrow. I thought about that, and again, I think I said to Mike earlier, Regz, that like, what would have been really interesting is if it came down to game 3 and you're throwing Suarez just to keep Wheeler up for game 1,
Yeah.
but you had to get there. So how would they have adjusted? I don't know. Man, oh man, like, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
And like
We're
Mike
just going to be happy, right?
Yeah, there's no, again, Aaron Nola, who has been criticized by us, thought he couldn't give a home run up until game 10. What a bold prediction that was. but honestly, like, he was in control tonight, and let me tell you, Houston is a lot of people's picks to go to the World Series, and Phillies just beat a really good team tonight, and to get to postseason baseball. This reminds me a little bit of 2007, as we were both there, celebrating as Brett Myers was spraying the fans, and I love Rhys Hoskins in this way, is that he can't wait to go back and celebrate. This achievement, and the fact is now too, think about this for a second. The Eagles are 4-0, going real strong, and the Phillies are postseason. Let's go.
That's it, Joseph. Let's go. Thanks for coming on. I'm sure we'll be talking to you later this week.
Thanks, buddy.
Playoff baseball, I better be on at some point. Let's do it.
All right, man. We'll see you.
See you, buddy.
Later, Regz.
We got him in.
I'm glad it worked this time.
We got him in. I think
it wouldn't have been right if we didn't get him.
No, you can't have a playoff reaction show without Joseph. Let's get Shafe in here.
All right.
Adam.
Yo.
There he is.
We're in, baby.
Oh man, I'm a glass case of emotion right now.
Is that why you're not showing us your video? Are you still in tears?
Oh no, I don't know how to hold on.
It's okay. It's okay to cry. It's a safe space.
It's a safe space. You're allowed to cry. It's to say, hey, cheers, buddy. We did it. We're in.
All right, cheers.
We're in.
Gentlemen.
We're in, buddy. We made it.
I've been riding this roller coaster for a long time.
11 long years, and you texted me immediately tonight. I mean, and that's no surprise. I mean, we text pretty much nonstop, but you know, it's been a long time. The last time the Phillies were in the playoffs, you sat in my living room with me on the Cliff Lee blown game night. Like, I still vividly remember that night. And I don't know that we knew at that point that not only were they not going to win that series, but that we weren't going to see another playoff series for another 11 years. So I'm going to ask you this question right off the bat. Tonight, your emotions, what are you feeling? This is a night to celebrate, man. Like, I'm not even thinking about Friday yet. At this point, I'm just happy. Like, I'm just overjoyed. What is it that you're feeling right now in this moment?
Oh man, I just feel like the monkey's off their back now. Like, it's just ready to go full force straight ahead. I mean, I was just watching all the post game stuff, and Middleton said it best. He's like, now that they've got a taste of this, they're gonna want more. So, I mean, with this group, with the depth they've built, I don't see why they can't continue to get better. Not that the Mets or the Atlanta Braves are going anywhere, because those two teams are still going to be phenomenal. It's just the Phillies are right there. And we know that. I mean, some tweaks and like some maybe one other big addition, and this team's ready to go.
You just have to think that this was with the signings that they made, like Schwarber, Castellanos, those two in particular. This is the way Dombrowski envisioned it. Like, to make the playoffs in their first season with the team was the entire goal. Like, you don't make those moves or sign them for a couple years, like, to make the playoffs 2 years from now.
No.
And again, with this season, we can talk about the injuries, the untimely injuries like Castellanos, Harper, Segura. All why those guys like Segura and Harper in particular just on absolute tears, and then they get hurt, But if you're kind of projecting the next couple years, this was step one. Just get in. Give these guys a taste. Get like you said, the monkey off the back. And then for the next 4 years, while you have this team together and this lineup together, like, just give these guys, give the shark a taste of blood and let them, get hungry.
All right, we're going on the road. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good.
Oh, you're good.
This is the life of being a dad in the middle of the night.
Listen. I know Regz appreciates it. I know he does. I know.
There's the pod.
There it is.
Say hello.
There it is. Go Phils.
If my sons were,
unfortunately, she can't hear
you got your pods.
If my sons were out of bed right now, I would not be this nice. By the way,
she had to go to the bathroom.
Oh, all right.
She's only 5. She's still.
Oh, listen, I have a 5-year-old. I would be not as nice.
Oh well, I mean, on tonight I'll be happy.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it might have been a different reaction tonight.
Good night.
Love it. I love it. Adam Dad comes into play here.
All right. Night.
It's all of it coming through in the pod this evening. All of it coming through.
I love
Adam,
it.
Phillies fan, Adam in the pod.
I can't wait to replay it later.
Adam, I've been asking everybody this as you were watching, the final out, and what a fun night just all around. But as you're sitting there and Zach Eflin gets 2 outs on 2 pitches, and you're watching those last, that brutal at bat, by the way, just unbelievable from a guy I've never heard of. But
just get out already.
I know.
Which player are you sitting there like, gosh, I can't wait to see their reaction to this?
Oh, it's 100% Reese. As much as I give that man crap, his reaction after that was all said and done, you knew that was weighing on him so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it goes to the guys that have been here through everything, like Reese and Nola and Eflin. Like, to see those 3, well, Reese didn't really do much tonight, but to see Nola and Eflin come through and like basically shut this Astros team down. Granted, the last 3 or 4 innings they didn't have their big guns in, but Nola
shut the starters down.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's his last start going into the playoffs. I'm feeling pretty good come Saturday. So
October Nola.
Better than September Nola.
Yeah,
So far,
thank
so
God.
good. So far, so good. I mean, the only thing that would have made it better was if, as they were celebrating, Hector Neris ran on the field to celebrate with them. That's the only thing that could have made this all even better. Because if there's another player who defines the era of Phillies baseball that we just climbed out of,
I bet he's in the
it is
clubhouse
Hector
right
Neris.
now.
I hope he is. I hope he's
He
over
made his
there
way over.
popping champagne. You know he went over to congratulate them.
Of course
You
he
know
did.
he did. That guy should still be in a Phillies uniform, but that's a conversation for a different day. We love you, Hector, on the Phixated Podcast. Adam,
Always have.
let's quickly just ask you about this because we just touched on it. Aaron Nola has been the topic of conversation and criticism over the course of the last 4 or 5 Septembers. This guy has just been torn apart by this fan base. And his September this year was not bad. He had moments and starts where we were like, oh, here it comes. But then he would find a way to kind of manicure that and be fine. Tonight, we saw a next level of Aaron Nola. This isn't even June, July Aaron Nola. This is a whole nother level of Aaron Nola. And I know you just said that you have a whole nother confidence in him, but just quickly speak to what this means for the team and for him as they move into a very short series with other teams that have pretty strong rotations.
Well, I mean, it's for sure not going to be easy, but the one thing I've seen this team do is against those top of the line starters, they may not win all the time, but they're competitive. I mean, they beat Alcantara 4 times. They should have beat him a 5th time. They battled Scherzer for every single start he had this season against them. I mean, DeGrom's on another level. I mean, they've battled Fried. They beat Fried. They should have beat Fried twice in the last 2 weeks. They got him once. The Braves pitching staff they have the season series against the Dodgers. I mean, this team has shown, and with the veteran presence they have, I mean, if Schwarber can continue to set the tone the way he's doing, I mean, they have more bullpen depth now. I mean, I'm confident in Eflin. I'm confident in Alvarado. It's basically unhittable. And, I mean, you still have Robertson. You have Dominguez. You have, Brogdon if he comes out and can throw you an inning. I mean, you're going to have probably Bailey Falter coming out of the pen, too, in the playoffs. And I don't have any more beer left, but cheers to never having to see Kyle Gibson pitch again in a Phillies uniform. Sorry, Regz.
No, it's all good. He's been terrible.
Oh, man.
Love that. I love it. I love it. So, I mean, look, man, we are in our very first Red October in 11 years, and it feels really, really good.
No coincidence, the Phixated Pod started in 2021 and now in 2022.
Literally said it before we pressed record.
Yep. And
now,
here we are.
We're there.
And here we are. And buddy, we'll probably we'll be in playoff mode tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. when our text messages start, because we'll enjoy this for tonight. We'll have another beer or two and call it an evening. But at 6 a.m. tomorrow, we'll be talking about playoff matchups and pitching matchups and the whole thing, because that's just kind of the way we land. But I mean, hey, cheers, bud. We did it. We're back. We're in the playoffs. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
And go Phils, man. I just got goosebumps. We did it.
From last week to this week, holy moly.
That's right.
How about it? How about it? It's changed quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man.
All right.
Well, hey,
Thanks,
we'll
Adam.
be talking. Go
Appreciate
Phils.
it, man.
Yes, sir.
See ya.
Red October. Here we go.
That's right.
Ah, man, what a night. What a night. We still got 2 more we haven't talked to in the waiting room.
We do.
Let's bring in Roger. I feel like Roger will be a call that we need to have right now.
He's Fix fan, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, there he is.
Roger.
Hey, what's happening? We're double fisting here, buddy.
I love it.
Freaking ice. So then I had to go get a Bud Light. How
did
excited
it.
are you, buddy?
We did it.
Yes, indeed.
I'm telling you, I told Roger in a text message, Regz, I'm just going to show up at the middle school tomorrow and give him a hug and walk out.
You should.
I'm just going to do it.
If I was
You
closer,
still
I
need
would
to.
do it too.
I'm expecting it.
There you
Nothing
go.
left.
I might just stop in on my way to school tomorrow. Just give you a hug and walk out. We did it, man.
Everybody when I'm out doing buses, just show up out front.
I tell you what, man. I think it was Saturday. Was it Saturday in game 1 that you texted me? You're like, they're gonna blow this, aren't they? I was like, they sure are. They sure are. And here we are. It's Monday night, and they did it.
Well, when they lost 13-4, I was getting a little bit worried on Saturday afternoon.
I mean, you heard the Thursday pod. I was not in a good place.
Nah, that's true.
So I think
when you lose your last 7 to the Cubs, and your magic number is at that time I guess it was still 8, but I guess after that though it was down to 6 already, and you hadn't beaten the freaking Cubs in your last 7 games.
Yeah, it wasn't a good spot.
Well, yeah, we weren't feeling great as a fan base. Roger, I got to ask you. Right out of the jump, I've been asking people this question throughout the evening, and I'm curious to know your answer. I feel like we've had a pretty good, diverse group of answers when I asked this, but when you were, after Eflin got the first 2 outs and you're feeling good, because, I mean, at that point, he's just firing strikes and he's going to get the 3rd out one way or the other. Was there a player that you were most looking forward to seeing the reaction of after the final out? We've heard a few answers. We haven't shared ours yet, but I'm curious to know who's the player that you were most excited to see the reaction of after that final out?
I gotta be honest. I think it was, there's so many of them that who've been really good players who've never made it to the playoffs. You and I talked about that, but I think JT, because I was, as you know, a little down on him after his comments in the Toronto thing, and he was playing like shit.
Yep.
And dude has turned it on, and I think he's the one guy out of that group of guys who hadn't played, who truly played the second half of the year through this run, played well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it was just neat to see him stick his hands up in the air, just like it was a moment of relief.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I really wanted to see Gene.
Yeah.
Because
I've heard that one too. Yeah.
It's a good job. But I think JT, he took a lot of heat. He hasn't really been what they wanted or what they expected. Let me say that the last year and a half going into the second half of this year. And second half of this year, he stepped up and he played some lights out baseball, hit the ball, hit for power, obviously does the job behind the plate, and showed some emotion, which he isn't always emotional, but he showed some fist pumping throughout the year. So I was pretty happy for him, having been a catcher myself, and that's the grind of all grinds. But you got to love it. I was just excited overall because I think the thing that you and I had talked about, the one text when we were talking about the pressure, these are all guys approaching, I don't want to say the end of their careers, but moving towards that stage that have not been in the playoffs. And I think this could just open the floodgates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
You're in the playoffs now.
Yeah, when you think about dangerous teams and I look around, let me put it this way. If the Brewers get in, no one's scared of the Brewers. Nope. Like no one's scared of the Brewers. I can tell you for a fact that no one's scared of the Guardians. Like no one's looking at the Guardians as a team that they're going to be scared of, if they have to play them in the second round. I can tell you right now that teams are looking at the Phillies and saying, oh man, Zach Wheeler, are you kidding me? We got to face him in a game 1. And, Aaron Nola, if this is the Aaron Nola that we're going to see, the guy we saw tonight, that's not good. Oh, and now they're bringing out the best reliever in baseball all of a sudden, who can go an inning on you. And on a full week of rest, David Robertson and Sir Anthony Domingos, who probably won't see game action the next 2 days because they're just going to give them a full week to recoup. Teams are looking at this pitching staff, this bullpen, and then you look at the lineup, and there's enough names to intimidate a pitching staff and to make people think, even though Bryce has not been Bryce and Nick hasn't been Nick. We saw last year how quickly guys can turn on in the playoffs with a team like the Braves, who they had dudes who didn't hit all year, but all of a sudden the playoffs rolled around and they were all Babe Ruth. So, Roger, if you're an opposing team, like, and you're the first round matchup for the Phillies, or say they get to the divisional round, you got to be feeling somewhat nervous, right?
Agreed. They have the ability to go on a run. There is no doubt they have the ability to go on a run, and they have the players to just light you up and score some runs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I said, that monkey being off a lot of these guys' backs, I think, is huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Some people
that's underestimated potentially going through this.
Some people, I've said this, I think I've said it to both of you at some point, like, there's got to be this feeling of part of what the struggles were in Chicago and early stages of Washington were just getting in.
Yeah.
Like it's been years that these guys, I mean, Harper's been here 3 years. JT's been here 3 years. They've felt that failure over the course of the last 3 years, and just it's playing in your head over and over again. Like, oh man, here we go again. And now you wonder, like,
well, yeah, even before then with their own teams, before the Phillies.
Yeah. Yeah. And now you have to think, like, I meant to say this to Adam because I saw them posted on social media. They've got nothing to lose. They're playing with house money. Right. No one expects them to win.
Nope.
Like, no one expects them to win.
This is perfect. And Bryce, he had to not only leave to get all this money and then not get in, but watch his team win a World Series.
Yep.
So, you're talking Castellanos hasn't been there. You're talking Gene hasn't been there. Like, this is JT hasn't been there. This is, I think, you got the center fielder now. I think you're stronger defensively. Still not strong. I don't want to use that word. But I think he is definitely a big plus to go get the balls out there. Nicky Castellanos made a great play out there in right field early in the game tonight.
Yeah, good job.
Run that ball down.
Yeah.
I'm excited. As I've told you many times, and I think I even put in my comment the one night, I've never played or coached a game where I thought I was losing. So, like, I'm thinking World Series.
I mean, I love that.
I love it.
But we'll end with this because you lead me perfectly into it. This is a night for celebration. We've talked more with you about, what's coming up here in the next few weeks than we talked about with any other visitor tonight. So let me just ask you this. The feeling that you're having tonight, describe it for us. 11 years, Roger. I was 24 the last time they were in. I was my second year of teaching. I was still a dumb kid who was out of college and had no idea what life. Neither one of Regz or I were even engaged at that time. Like, we are living a whole new life. It's over a decade later. Our emotions are through the roof. What is the number one emotion that you're feeling tonight?
I think just the same thing, that excitement. I was telling your brother in the waiting room, I can think back to beating Houston in a playoff series to get to the next round back in the day. So I saw them in the early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw when the 93 crew, I was about what you were talking about when this crew, or the latest playoff run, because I would have been about 24 probably then. When they won, about 24, 25, when that crew lost to the Blue Jays in the World Series. About every 10 years I get to enjoy this. That's not very fun. And who knows how many more of those years I have.
I hope many. I hope many, because I don't know that I want to know another baseball season without you, Roger. I don't think I can do it.
Hey, I've heard people born in December live into their hundreds, so I'm good to go.
There you go. That's right.
Attaboy. Love that. That's what I need in my life. More Roger. Need that for sure. Roger, listen, I'll see you in the bus loop tomorrow. Don't think I'm not showing up.
I'm waiting for the hug tomorrow. And I got a bourbon in one hand and a beer in the other one, just in case.
Boy, baby. Hey, cheers, man. We did it. We made it.
Cheers.
Cheers, Roger.
And I'll see you tomorrow morning.
All right, see you guys.
See ya.
All right, buddy. See ya.
Enjoy.
I mean, I'm showing up in the bus loop.
Listen, if I could, I would.
I'm showing up in the bus loop. I'm gonna give him a hug, and then I'm walking back to my car to get over to my building.
Give him 2. Give him 1 for me.
I will. I'll say this one's for me.
Yep.
This one's from Regz.
Yep. Perfect.
It's 100% happening. There's no way I'm not going to see Roger tomorrow.
I love it.
There's no way. Hey, we got to get one more person in this chat, and then we'll do our player that we could. I don't know that I don't even know if I have a fixate. I mean, I can definitely talk. There's no way I can't talk. Let's bring Phil in.
Yeah,
We're in, baby.
we made it.
We did
it, buddy. We did it. Hey, I you don't have to turn it on, but I want you to know your there he is.
There he is.
There he is. There's the stud. There's the stud. We're in, buddy. Uh-oh. Having trouble hearing you.
Oh, no.
Got you a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Probably just turn your camera off again because it's probably a lot of bandwidth and it's probably not being nice. We could hear you fine when it was. Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Now you're beautiful.
Now we got you. Yeah.
With that, man, we're in the playoffs again.
We sure are, buddy.
Aaron Nola, Mr. Never comes up big. 6 perfect innings, right?
Yeah, 6 2/3, perfect.
6 2/3, right there. A vintage, like, Doc-esque, just the way he had the command. And Alvarado comes in. I mean, have we ever seen a Phillies pitcher, like, more exciting than Jose Alvarado every single pitch?
I mean, he has been incredibly dominant. I mean, we were talking about that previously, and certainly he has been probably one of the most dominant relievers in baseball. And you know,
is it literally like Billy Wagner the last time we saw a guy who like just had that kind of volatility? I know he hasn't been as volatile now, but just a lefty throwing absolute gas all the time.
I mean, this is even more than that. I mean, we remember when we would give Billy Wagner a standing ovation when he threw 100. Like,
yeah,
it's just expected that Jose.
No, I think this is
100.
a whole different level. I'm just trying to think back to when like the last time was that we had this kind of just absolute fireball.
Yeah, like, I mean, Lidge was exciting, obviously, in that year, but I mean, just the way that Alvarado gets it done, and I mean, a sinker just. I don't know anything could move at 100 miles an hour like that.
Well, then he drops that 93 whatever that cutter that like we were talking about moves a foot.
I just learned it. I mean, it's kind of, and again, please, people, please don't get me wrong when I say what I'm about to say, because I know this is going to come back to bite me somehow. But like the storyline of he just learned this cutter out of nowhere is so Mariano Rivera-esque. That it's like sickening to me. And I'm not saying he's Mariano Rivera, so everybody take a deep breath. What I'm saying is this is the type of thing that can change a career when you learn a pitch that's as dominant as the cutter that Jose Alvarado's throwing. Like that's what we're talking about. And I think, you know, Phil, one of the things that we've talked about tonight is this team being really scary. And we've tried to focus tonight on just the celebration, but it's hard because we want to think ahead to Friday, but this team's got to be scary for whoever they face, right? Like they just have to be.
Yeah, it's just so. I mean, when you look through the way JT and Muto played this second half of the year, the things that I think too, I'm excited to see him. I mean, he's finally made the playoffs. But the thing too, in playoff baseball, every pitch matters. To have the best catcher in baseball on the field, you know, when it's like late inning. There's a guy on, maybe we're up 1 run, or, you know, try and protect a lead, and you got JT behind the plate, you know, that can erase the running game, like that kind of stuff. Playoff baseball, that's where it comes into play. And I mean, Schwarber at the top of the lineup, I guess. I mean, God, way to start off the night tonight. Like, this very thing I was just even thinking too is like, I'm not even really thinking of Bryce Harper and Nick Castellanos right now. Like, I hope they get a couple of days off, things can reset. But like those are two guys who, when it comes in the playoffs, at any moment, like they can come through big.
Isn't that an absurd statement to just say I'm not thinking about Bryce Harper and Nick Castellanos right now?
It is wild. Exactly. It is wild.
You're absolutely right. But and it's no, like, I didn't mean that to say that what you said was absurd. No. Like, but it's just an absurd thought.
And we like made it through this. We missed Bryce for a month and a half. We had the whole Gerard debacle. I mean, so many things.
I mean, losing Gene while he's on an absolute heater. Yeah.
Exactly. And not not anybody to fill in at that spot too.
And
Didi, Duble. Oh my God.
And Phil, one of the questions we've been asking people tonight is, as you were watching Zach Eflin throw, two pitches, 2 outs, you're settling in, you're saying this is it, we're doing this. Was there a player that you were most looking forward to seeing the reaction of after the final out?
I mean, I guess maybe it was my experience as a pitcher. I like to see the catcher's reaction. Like that whole thing. I think JT was fired up. They went in, had the embrace. Like that's what, that's where I go to right away. I mean, the Reese speech too on TV. I was just, choking back and everything that people have been through.
Eflin was fired up too. Like,
yeah.
Eflin, exactly. The ups and downs of his career, the way this year's been into. I mean, that kind of thing, to have the knee injury especially late in the year, August, you're just going through like rehab, wondering if you're going to get a chance, and then here you are, like getting the last out to clinch the playoffs. And these are veteran like Real Muto. You got Aaron Nola, who pitched the gem, who had been through so much in the city. I was just talking to Joseph today. Again, that's what he was. I got to give him. He was like, "Oh, I don't know about Nola." And I was like, I feel like Nola is a guy that we've all underappreciated for a while, and it's good for him to have the day. I think Nola unfairly kind of gets it just because of the frustration we've been through, and he's always been there, like just by default. So just.
I mean, I've certainly criticized him enough myself on this podcast.
Yeah. I think we're all guilty of our Aaron Nola criticisms, and I'm actually looking at his bobblehead right now. Like I should have it sitting next to me as I record the end of this pod tonight. But Phil, I got it. One last thing as we go here this evening. Phillies baseball has always been something that the two of us have shared, and I'm just curious, as you think about the last 11 years and all of the players that have come and gone, the managers, the GMs, the pitching coaches, the relievers, up and down, right? Like the empty stadiums. We land on tonight, and we finally find ourselves back in a red October, even if it's just for a short weekend. Just to get a taste of playoff baseball once again. What emotion is dominating your mind right now? What is the space you're in right now?
I mean, it's just like, it's the elation, it's the hope too. That's the thing. Everybody, whatever happened in the regular season doesn't matter. This is postseason. We've been through it before in years like 2011 where we're stacked, and then you run into a hot team, some things don't go your way, and you don't get out with a team you think should go all the way. Like, we don't have to look very far to like the 2019 Nationals. Not saying, like we're a different team in certain ways, but like they were like 11 games under 500 at a point. Just got hot, like the pitching staff, things clicked, and they run from a wild card to a World Series. Like everything right now, this team. He's got ahead of him, and like it's just an opportunity to everything that happened before doesn't matter. I just love that whole idea that guys can come in now and it's up for grabs. So I mean, it's just we finally made it back, dude. Like we get to watch October. to the playoffs, and like we're gonna be. I don't think until first pitch. Honestly, it's really gonna again like that full emotion. Now I'm just like I'm so pumped, but like there's every pitch when you're waiting on it, man. Like that, a swing of the bat.
Yep.
Means so much more.
Yep.
Just sharing the moments too, right? It's like honestly, too, that's a cool thing too. Regz, I'm sure you got little guys you're explaining to, that first playoff opportunity. Michael, we've all been through it with family members. You get the phone call. Does this just happen after the game? Brothers, all that kind of experience. Like it's cool to be back.
Yeah, they're going to come in and ask me in the morning.
Yeah, come in and ask in the morning. That's awesome.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
That's all.
Well, Phil, we appreciate you coming on tonight, and as always, I mean, go Phils, man, and I know you and I'll be talking before Friday.
For sure. Thanks for having me, guys. Have a great night. Go
Thanks,
Phils.
Phil.
You too, buddy.
See ya.
He sounded a little robot-y.
Yeah, just sometimes connections are weird. It's all good.
I mean, listen, still love that he called in. Regz.
Azzy.
We did it. One thing, and this is what I'm going to fixate on. Phil kind of opened up the can of worms, and certainly feel free to piggyback, or if you want to say something before I go, go for it. But I think he said it best when he said, we asked him about the emotion, and he said hope, right? Tonight is just this. Oh God, I'm getting all choked up, and I can't believe I'm getting choked up. I can't believe I'm getting choked up. I'm a grown man about to cry about my baseball team.
We're 35.
I've cried very few times in my life when I've lost my grandparents, when the Eagles won the World Series, or when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, when the Phillies won the World Series, when my wife walked down the aisle, and now I feel like I'm about to cry after 11 years of not being in the playoffs. And like I couldn't identify the feeling earlier, but before we get into that, because I'm going to fixate on that, who was the player you were most excited to see tonight?
I would have loved to. Like I said, I think I said this to you before we started. I would have loved to have seen Bryce. Because I don't think we can underestimate the fact that after Bryce Harper decided to play for this team.
Yeah.
He could have gone absolutely anywhere in Major League Baseball he wanted to. Bryce Harper could have picked a team, and that team would have said, okay, I'll clear room. We'll make the money. Like, we'll figure it out. He could have picked any team. He literally decided to go to a division rival because something, like all the years of playing against us, he saw what this fan base is about. He saw something in the organization that we didn't even see.
Mm-hmm.
And he decided to sign for 10 years with a no trade clause. Like, I don't want to go anywhere.
Yep.
And 2 years later, a year later, he saw his old team win a World Series. While this team was in the absolute dumps. Literally the dumps. And I just would have loved to have. I'm sure they'll have a camera angle of it that will, I'll see in the next couple hours. But that's the one I wanted to see.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I also think Eflin's was awesome. You could tell that the frustration of that guy's like last 3 years all came out in one moment.
Yeah, he was mine, actually. I don't know that I've been super obvious about it on this show, and if I have, maybe I apologize, maybe I don't really know. I love Zach Eflin.
I mean, I know that as one of your friends. Like, I know that.
I love Zach Eflin.
Yeah.
I think that Zach Eflin is one of the more talented pitchers that this organization has had in a long time. And I still remember when they traded Jimmy Rollins to get him.
Yeah.
This guy has been hampered by injury after injury after injury. And so much of me hopes that they let him see the ninth inning on the mound tonight so that he could feel what the ninth inning meant in a real time, big time game.
Yeah.
Because this is the guy that I want in the closer role moving forward. There's legit upside to Zach Eflin as a closer. And watching him get to celebrate that moment kind of felt like watching Brett Myers get to celebrate in 2007. Yeah. Now, Brett went back to the starting rotation and was very successful. Oddly enough, like had to go down to the minors in 08, but then ended up being our game 2 starter throughout the run in 2008.
Yep.
And won some big games, got some big hits and some big walks, by the way.
It's freaking CC Sabathia of all people.
CC Sabathia, yep. And then he had like 4 hits against the Dodgers in the NLCS. But I do hope that Zach Eflin is a Philly next year. He is one of my very favorite Phillies, and I think there's so much potential in him that just, you see it and it's there and you want him to be healthy. I just don't know that he can do it as a starter.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that some of this is a taste of what it feels like to come out in a big spot and get those big outs and celebrate with the teammates that you've grown with. So he was the guy I was most looking forward to seeing. And, I said it beforehand. I wanted to see Bryson Stott, right?
Yeah.
Like the kid who kind of saved the shortstop position this year. And the kid that I think is, I don't know what next year is going to bring in regards to the middle infielder and the infield overall. I can tell you this, though. A tweet from Matt Gelb keeps me thinking that Gene Segura will be here again next year. Here's a tweet from Matt Gelb. Scenes from the winning clubhouse. Nick Maton wearing a Miller Lite case as a hat, barking at everyone. Dave Dombrowski wandering around in shorts and flip-flops, giving everyone high fives. Everyone.
Fantastic.
I mean, everyone dousing Gene Segura.
I mean, I don't think you can doubt that the guy is a good teammate and that his teammates really care about him. I don't think anybody's ever doubted that.
But I think they have. And let me just rewind to when he was traded here. The Phillies were like his 5th team.
Yeah.
Like he never found a home.
Yeah. Maybe I meant just on the Phillies. Like I feel like he's been kind of.
Yeah. I think he got that bad rap when was it Girardi or Kapler? I think it was he and Girardi got into it. No?
Oh man. I'd have to go back and remember.
I don't remember. I don't remember which one it was. But all this being said, we can't get into next year because we actually have a series this weekend. Right. And it's looking more and more like it's going to be against the Cardinals. The Padres are up huge right now.
Great.
They scored 7 runs in the 8th. So they are up big. And it appears as though we're inching closer to a date with destiny with the team.
Good news.
And now let me just say this. I know we're not talking future. We will do this on Thursday, but I have to say this because I have to before I do my quick fixated. 11 years ago, 2011, we played a team of the Cardinals that had Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols, and Adam Wainwright was on that roster but didn't play in that series. Roles reversed 11 years later, 2022. Yeah. Those guys are all back on the Cardinals. They ended our run. It's time.
Return the
for
favor.
Some revenge.
Yep,
we need to return the favor. We need to go there and do to them what they did to me that really chilly October night when I wouldn't speak for 3 days because I knew that the run was over. I knew it. I knew it was done. That being said, it comes full circle. Phil said it, man. The feeling tonight is hope. Like, it's hope.
So
the monkeys all go ahead.
Do you mind if I start so you can end?
Please.
I know I don't jump in on
the floor is yours, sir.
You know I don't jump in on the Phixated ever because it's your thing and I love that you do it. But I think tonight I'm gonna do it because I want you to end the podcast with yours. My mind goes to being in Maryland. Like, my boys don't wear green, or they don't wear purple on Purple Fridays. They wear green.
That's awesome.
They don't wear orange on Orioles Fridays. They wear red. They don't go out in Orioles shirts. They don't own any. They don't own Ravens gear. And I will not allow them to for as long as I can control what they wear. And then when people meet me and they ask, "Oh, where are you from?" I say South Jersey, right outside Philadelphia, right over the bridge. "Oh, are you, a Philadelphia sports fan?" "Yeah. Yes, I am." "Oh, all the teams?" "Yep, all the teams." And then they say, "Oh, how about them Eagles?" And I'm like, you know what? Football's great, but I'm a baseball fan. Like, that's what I am. I've stopped following college football. I follow the NFL as much as I can, but living in Maryland, it's hard to obviously keep up with the Eagles games. Like, the thing that's on in my house, the thing that I've bought MLB TV for the past 10 plus years is Phillies baseball. This, it's a part of who I am. When people ask me, "Oh, are you a fan of all the sports?" Yes, I am. And then they immediately jump to the Eagles, and I say, "I'm sorry, I don't know. But if you want to talk about the Phillies offseason, I'd love to jump into that with you." And then, "Oh, baseball? Really?" Yeah, baseball. I fucking love baseball. I love it. I don't know why. Probably because it's the thing I should have played the most. As a 6'2" white guy who can't jump, I probably shouldn't have put all my eggs in the basketball basket. You know what I was pretty good at, through freshman and sophomore year of high school? Baseball. And I'd live and die with this team. I get emotional. I get upset. I yell at the TV when it's the second inning and we have a runner on second and nobody gets him to third. I yell at my TV and I have to stop myself because my kids look at me like, "Dad, what are you doing?" And then my wife looks at me like, "Don't teach your kids how to yell at the TV." I can't help it. I fucking love baseball. And for the past, I'll never complain about being a Philadelphia sports fan because I've had 2 championships in my lifetime from my baseball team and my football team. There's not a lot of Philadelphia sports fans that can say that. And literally, I've gone through the best of times with my 2 favorite teams in my my premium years, right? In my 20s and my early 30s. But if anyone ever asks me, "Oh, what's your favorite team?" It's the Phillies. I don't hesitate. I don't stutter. I don't have to think about it. It is this baseball team. And for 11 years, it's broken my heart that we can't get back to some semblance of what I remember from those years where we were sitting in that Summit House and watching the Phillies play baseball. And I don't know when it'll sink in. The fact that I could watch it with you and that we were sort of, had the videos up and recorded that reaction video. That's again, there's nobody I'd rather share that with than you because I know you feel the same way. And so I can't when I think about 11 years, I almost can't believe it. Like I said, it was a lifetime ago.
It's a third of our lives.
We've been married. I've had 3 children since then. I live in I've had 2 houses since then. It's an entire stage of my life where I've gone from a kid who's just out of college to now a dad and a homeowner and the job and all that stuff. But nothing will take away from the feeling I get when the Phillies do shit like this. Nothing. The Eagles could win another Super Bowl. If the Phillies won another World Series, I'd be more excited. Like, that's just how it goes in my brain. So when stuff like this happens, it's like, it's just the best. This is what I like. This is in my sports fandom. This is what I live for. And I can't wait to tell my boys in the morning that the Phillies fucking made the playoffs. I cannot wait.
Well, I don't know how to top that. I mean, here's what I'll say. Over my right shoulder is a picture of Pete Rose, autographed photo of Pete Rose. 42 years ago, that dude won a World Series in Philadelphia. You got the Brad Lidge photo, the Matt Stairs photo, the other Brad Lidge photo, and that was 14 years ago that those guys won the World Series. And then far left shoulder, you've got the Roy Halladay no-hitter plaque and the no-hitter word art, and that was 11 years ago. Well, 12 technically when he did those, but 11 years since he last pitched for the Phillies in that game, that last playoff game that we saw in Philadelphia. And, after that, all hope was kind of pulled away from us. I think, there was slivers of it, but knowing that we wouldn't see Ryan for months, and then Chase was out with the knee stuff, and it just never felt like we were going to get back there. They traded Shane, they traded Hunter. Everything was sort of falling off the rails, and hope was sort of lost. And then 13 came and went, and Charlie got fired, and then Sandberg came and went, and McCannon came and went, and Gabe then came and went, and then Girardi came and went, and all of a sudden this baseball lifer comes into our worlds, and he'd kind of been hiding in the background since the Gabe days, and saves baseball in 2022 for us. And look, we've had our moments with Topper. He hasn't been perfect. He's not without criticism. And to be quite honest with you, no baseball manager's ever without criticism. We found it with Charlie in the 80s. They found it with Green. Yeah. We found it with Bergosi in the 90s. Like, those happen. But I think what Topper has given this group is the hope that I'm about to talk about. Like, he came in and played all the youngins. Like, all the kids started playing when he came, and they had confidence from their teammates. They had confidence from their manager, and the daycare saved us quite a bit this year. Alec Boehm had a month where he just tore the cover off the ball. Bryson Stott had so many clutch hits that it's really difficult to even count off the top of my head. I mean, it's starting with the Angels walk-off to game-tying hits, to big hits in big spots, to taking over a position that was locked down by a veteran when Girardi was here, and Maton coming up in big spots and getting big hits, and just left and right, these young kids making
Derek Hall keeping like the lineup alive.
Absolutely. A guy I think that deserves a playoff spot and needs a playoff spot.
He was there tonight. I saw him in the pile.
Yeah. And I we'll see what happens when push comes to shove. Can they find him a spot?
But I mean, bench? Literally kept the lineup alive for a good 2 weeks.
When Bryce was out. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. I was on vacation and the kid came up and just hit. And I think, that's the type of guy that you have to have on your bench in the playoffs. It's like a Matt Stair spot. You have that dude on your bench who poses that power threat. But ultimately, Phil said it. This tonight brings hope. And we've seen it over the course of time with the Nationals winning a wild card and winning a World Series. The Braves last year doing what they did. A team that was at the beginning of August was out of it and turned it around entirely, and had a couple of guys get really hot for 3 weeks, and they were raising the trophy at the end. Am I going to sit here and claim that the Phillies are going to be World Series champions at the end of October? Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. They're in a gauntlet of a league. You know, I know where the Mets are, but they dominate us. The Braves are tough. The Dodgers are 60 games over 500. And, you know, getting to the World Series means a date with the Yankees or the Astros. Like, it's not going to be easy. But this team has given us hope since June the 3rd, when Topper took over. And they've had moments where we've doubted them. They've had moments of, here we go again. And every time they find their way out, all it's going to take is Kyle Schwarber and Rhys Hoskins getting hot for a week, Bryce getting hot for a week, JT staying hot, Nick Castellanos finding the swing that, you know, we know is somewhere in there. You know, the young kids continuing to find their way. And a couple of really good starts from pitchers that we know have it. You know, the stuff is there with Wheeler. The stuff is there with Nola. And the grit and want to is there with Ranger. And sometimes in these series, all you need are 3. So there's hope. And when it comes to baseball playoffs, it is a crapshoot. Are they a World Series roster? Probably not. But I will say it. I said it at the beginning of this year, and I'll say it again. That Braves team last year was not a World Series roster. They were a roster that got really hot at the right time, and they won.
Yep.
There is no reason that this Phillies team can't have a repeat of June, from June 3rd to June 30th. There is no reason that they cannot have that month. There's hope. And it starts on Friday, baby. We're in. And at the end of the day, all you got to do is get in, because anything can happen in a baseball series. Anything. And it starts with Zach Wheeler, who I'd put up against literally any pitcher in Major League Baseball.
That's right.
And if you win that first game and you get this version of Aaron Nola,
yeah,
you're sitting really pretty heading into that Saturday game. So, Regz, we did it. There's hope. This team has a shot. I believe in them. I believe that we're going to have a weekend of baseball that can truly not just entertain us, but take us to the next level. So, buddy, I'll see you on Thursday night a preview.
That's right.
I mean, I'll do the sound off here, but you know, you're coming back on Thursday night. In the meantime, hit subscribe, follow us on Instagram, B&B Pod, follow us on Twitter, B&B Pod, at the Phixated Pod, at the Mic Drop 5, at Big Regz with the Z, Phixated fan page. Thanks to Roger. Thanks to Randy. Thanks to Phil. Thanks to Joseph. Thanks to Adam for popping on tonight. We're so grateful to have each and every one of you. The Phillies are in the playoffs. Thursday night preview episode. Only Phillies on Thursday night. We might do like a hot minute of Eagles, just a hot minute of Eagles preview for the weekend game against the Cards. But a solid 45 minutes of our show is going to be Phillies baseball and the preview for the playoffs, because Regz, the Phillies are a playoff team. Buddy, I love you. Go Phils. We love each and every one of you that listen to us. Be kind this week. We'll see you on Thursday night. Stay safe. Take care. And go Phils.
I love you too. Go Phils. Buy the merch. Check the link in the description.
Oh my God. Deep to right field. Way up there and way out of here.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.